Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI related tutorial by Team SlideScope. In this part we are trying to create a dashboard or a report. This is part 1 where we will solve these 6 questions. And it will be heavily focused on nested DAX queries. So you can see use of filter, values, contains, is in a scope, rank X, calculate, these type of functions, concatenate X. We will create multiple calculated tables, we will create multiple calculated measures and columns. Everything that you see here will be discussed in this part. This is visually not the best looking report that we have created, but the purpose of this report is to teach you the use of these functions so that you can apply it in multiple places in your report. So let's get started with it. So today we are starting our discussion of creating employees payroll data analysis dashboard with DAX in Power BI. For this, the data set that we have, I will give you a simple intro. It's a employee payroll data, and in this data you can see we have employee ID, full name, department. So let me show you the CSV file. So here you can see we have the CSV file, employee ID, full name, country, department, etc. Now I have broken this file into two parts. One is payroll data 50 employees and other is payroll data 51 to 55 employees. So here you can see we have employee ID 51 to 55 here. Although we can very easily join these two or append first file here, I can easily copy that, but I will show you how to do it in Power BI. So that is first thing that we are going to learn. So like you will first load the employee payroll data 50, then you will load the 51 to 55, and then we will create the full data. Okay. Next is we will create calculated tables like departments with job level 4, departments with grade B, these type of tables. We'll also learn how to do list of grades, maximum active employees. This is something we'll discuss later. Rank in a particular department. So all those questions are listed here. Which department contains at least one employee with grade A? Show only job level in visuals if it is being used as a filter. So we'll learn use of is in a scope function and rank X. We will also learn display distinct grades present in the current filter using values, get monthly income. So everything we will learn today. An important thing, average salary by grade. So if I ask you to calculate average salary, it is easy. But if I ask you to calculate average salary by a categorical field, so that is something we are going to learn here. So we will simply open Power BI desktop, and first we will prepare our full data, and you know the full data is inside two files, right? It is inside, in first file we have employee ID 1 to 50, and second is in employee ID 51 to 55. So for that we will go to, straight away we'll go to transform data. So if you will open transform data, this will open Power Query editor. From here we can select a new source. So like you can connect a new source from there, and we can connect it from here also. So our file is CSV file. So I am selecting first 50. Like here we have the first 50 employees information. So first 50 employees information, we will select it, and this will give us the entire structure, and we'll click OK. Now we need to connect the next 50 also. So I will next 5, sorry. So here you can see in Power Query Editor, you will find new source. So in new source, we can select another file that we want to append or merge with it. So that second file is 51 to 55. It has the same set of columns. Okay. It also has employee, full name, department, etc. But it does not have country information. So because I was working with something, so first thing that I am just adding here is, that is I'm manually adding. So I'm just adding country, and I'll add some country like India, USA, UK, India, USA. This is what I did in the practice file. So after now preparing our data, we will load it once again. New source, text CSV, 51 to 55, because otherwise it would have shown null. So now we have this information. Let me reload it. So now we also have the country name. So we will now simply click OK. So now we have these two tables. So in Power Query Editor, when you have to connect two tables, like we saw how we can create a relationship between two tables, but suppose we have to join two tables and make them a big table. So whenever you are joining two tables, so it will either be row wise or it will either be column wise. So for example, this is table 1, this is table 2. So we can either join them horizontally or we can join them vertically. So we can join them like this or we can join them like this also. So when we join them like this is called appending. Like we append a row, that means add to the end. And when we join like this, so it will be like merge, because we are merging queries. So because we have to, when we will have the same number of columns in both table and same columns particularly, you can see here, so we will append them. So in Power Query Editor, you will find in your home tab, you will find the option append queries. So what we can do, either we can write append query, so this will add in the same table, or we can write append query as new, so it will create a third table. So here we have two tables. First table is 50 employees, then we have 51 to 55. I will click OK, and now you can see I have the complete data from 1 to 55, and I will call as employee data or whatever you want to call. So I will call it full data. You can also call it employee data. Once it is done, okay, we can remove this from the model because it is not needed, or we can keep them, and we can now close and apply. So important thing is close and apply, otherwise these changes will not be applied. So you can see now it's closed. If you want, you can delete from models, like this is not needed. So you can see the query cannot be deleted because it is referenced. So that's the reason you have to keep it. Okay, and later I will also teach you how to copy it and remove the original. That is something we are going to learn. So now we have the full data. Until this point, do you guys have any questions, any concerns, anything you want to discuss?
Fine, sir. It's fine.
Right? And I will, as this video is being recorded, so you can go ahead and try that. Now let's create a simple heading for our data. So that heading that I am putting is employee payroll data analysis with DAX in Power BI. Just adding reference for my thumbnail. So this is a simple text box which we have created many times. Now first we will do some exploratory analysis, and you guys can tell me what will be the points for those that exploratory analysis. What can we put here? Because while doing exploratory data analysis, you remember we used to create some KPIs, right? So we can create some KPIs here also. For example, first KPI can be something like total number of employees, right? A, a KPI can be average bonus, things like that can be there. So for example, if we have to create KPIs, we always do with cards, right? So in card visuals, we can put something. Now today, the KPIs that we will create will be based on DAX. So first KPI will be what is average monthly income of these employees. So for see, one simple thing is we will create a new measure and we will just write average income or average monthly income. Okay, and simple formula for this will be average, and we will create average and we will select the monthly income column and it will give us average. Okay, now we saw usage of average X, but now if I ask you, okay, so this is average income, and we will first of all apply some styling. So the styling that we have is in general tab. I will just enable shadow, nothing more. Everything else I will do later. And here just in call out values, I will just reduce their size to 35 and use this much of font size. And category label also we can select something else, and later I'm going to change the color. This is average income. If I ask you what is average income by department, so first of all, do you get my question? Yes. So
We will apply filters in that.
obviously you can apply filter, but here the question is pretty much simple. What is average income by department? So this is average monthly income. Okay, what will happen here if I create a simple stacked column chart, not here, but if I create a simple stack column chart here, okay, in that stack column chart, if I put department on the x-axis and the average monthly income that we have created, so you can see average monthly income by department is shown here. We can go to format your visual and enable data visuals, and you can see it is around 9.4k for operations, 6,000 something for IT, and so on. So this is average monthly income by department. I will just give it a better title and align it to center. This is okay. Even for our columns, I can select some other color. So I'm just selecting primary color, and I will just apply format painter and apply it, or we just enable shadow. So in general tab effects, we just enable shadow. That's it. Now this is showing data like that, but I want to see what, like we have many departments in our company, we have many job levels, like employees are working on different job levels, they have different grades also, their bonus slab is also there, their activeness is there. So if I ask you what is average something on the basis of some categorical value, so now this is our first task. So this is compare average salary by grade, for example. So in such cases you can use average X and you can grouping with summarize. But here if you have to calculate average income per grade or average income per department, so the function that you will use is average X. Is it okay? average X. And so let's do this and let's modify it for uh, average by department. So we will right click here, create a new measure. It is going to be a measure because it's a single value, and here data is full data. Okay, instead of grade we will write department. So in average X, why I have written values here? So because average X takes the table name as first argument. Is this clear? But do we have a table where we only have department name? Do we have that table? We don't have, right? So either we create a table with distinct department names, but that is not needed. Remember in our previous class we studied values function, and if you don't remember, so today we are going to study this function also. So now we are studying, let's go inside out then. So let's start from inner bracket. So first is values. What values does is, if I write values full data, okay, department, or if I write values full data categories, let's say we have a sales table, okay, whatever I write, so what it will do, it will give us a single column table of distinct values in that table. Is this okay? What is the output of this function? It gives us a single column table. So what is the output? It will give us a table. An average X needs a table. Can you see? So is this clear to you?
Yes, sir. So, values are act as a full table. Right.
Yeah, values can also act as a full table. So if I just select this much part, and if I go to my modeling tab and create a new table, and if I just write departments, right? Departments. What will this do? This will create a single column table department, and here you can see department HR, IT, finance, marketing, operations. Is it okay? So values
Yes.
can work as a full department. And now since you have the table, so you can select that table also. What is this table called? Departments. So now you can write that also, right? Is this okay? It needs a table, you created a table, or you can directly write that also. Is this first line clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we are writing calculate sum of employee. Why I'm writing sum here? Because we have to find average by department. Okay. So for every department, whatever will be the sum of department, and like basically here if I just write instead of department, oh sorry, if I instead of average monthly income, if I add sum of income, so that will be sum of every department, right? And average will be what? Average of that particular value. So this is a way to calculate. So average monthly income is this, and here is my other code. Average income, yeah. So you will do this, and in calculate we already know that in calculate we can write the expression. So our expression is simple: sum of our data and monthly income. So whenever a data is given and you have to calculate average per something, okay, like average per department, average per grade, average per country. So you can calculate accordingly. I will ask another question right after this. So this is average monthly income by department. What if I ask you what is the average monthly income per country? What will you do? So first of all, let's add here. So if I go here and put department, sorry, not department, the average income. So this is coming as 64.68k. Now let's do some calculation before moving to next step. If I create another KPI here, which I'm not going to keep, but I'm just adding here. So if I add monthly income here, what is the total monthly income? 323k. This is total monthly income, right? 323k. So let's open our calculator. 323k. Let's write 323. How many employees are there? 55. 55, right? 50 from here and 5 from here. Because employee ID 51 to 55 is here. So you study something. So if I divide it by 5, not multiply. If I divide it by 5, 64.6. See, if I divided it by 5, because we have 5 departments. Okay, so it's a simple way of doing this. If I write again the 323 and divide it by 55, so I will get something close to 5.88, right? So it is basically choosing denominator's value according to distinct count of values in that particular field.
Okay.
So average monthly income is selecting number of employees and average income per grade. So this is not grade, this is average income per dip, and that's why it is selecting. So this is a simplest way of creating that. So that's one of the use of average x. The average x will work on an expression that is calculated row wise, and row wise we are doing sum of monthly income and grouping them by department. So we are summarizing it, right? We are summarizing it, and after summarizing we are finding the income by department. So this is one thing. Similarly, if I ask you what is average monthly income by country, so now give me the code. So let's write average monthly income by country.
Value,
Average x
average X. Yes. And
table.
value.
So we have already created departments table, but here we don't have anything for country. So values,
Country.
full data country. So this is our first argument. Then,
Calculate.
but first I have, yeah, and then we will write calculate.
Sum average.
No, sum of monthly income.
It's for monthly income. Sorry.
Sum of monthly income and bracket close. See how many opening brackets are there. So it is saying this bracket is now closed. So we have to close one other. Okay. So now it is good. So this is average monthly income by country, and let's add that. So average monthly income by country also coming same because we have 5 countries, right? So I just told you now, since I already have the formula for grade, so average income per grade, so I will just replace it, and here I called it full data. Let me try one more thing if it works.
सर इसमें फिल्टर लगेगा क्या? नहीं लग सकता.
You can apply filter.
Country wise, can we do per grade, per country wise, like that?
Like yes, we can do. We can write nested DAX, but there, as a beginner, you can do one more thing. So this is average income by department. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am creating another uh, calculated field here or another visual here. I'm just creating a clustered bar chart or a stack bar chart will also do. On y-axis, what if I put country here? Okay. And on x-axis, if I add whatever you want to do by country, like this is average income per grade. Okay. So if we add average income per grade, so this is average income per grade per country.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you get this?
Yeah.
So like we have calculated average income per grade. This is one measure that we already have, and you want to see it by country, right? You want to see it by country. So you can do this, or you can just convert it to a simple matrix like this. If you just want to show it as a table, you can just do this. And in this matrix chart, you have values, so you can increase the size of these values. And like this is average income per grade, and we can also put average income per department. So here remember, in rows we are selecting country, and in values we will write average income per grade and average income per department also. Like let's say if you want to select per department, so let's reduce the value size a little bit. And here what you can do is, here we have markers. Okay, so like we have cell elements where we have data bars and background colors, so you can enable those data bars also. Like it is just like that bar, right? It is just like that bar that we just created, but now we are, the only difference is we are seeing it in a matrix chart. So this is also something that you can do. So this is showing you average income per grade and department by country. So we can write in title, so average income per grade and department by country. And if you want a different kind of answer, let me know. So I'll prepare some other type of visuals for that as well. So based on this data set, you can prepare some other questions also, right? Because you are an experienced person, so you have different type of you know, you might get stuck in something, or you might want to put something in your report. So whatever those questions are, you can always let me know. So I will create some kind of data set, like synthetic data set, and we will just use them for further calculations also. And here like we have values, but they are not visible, so we can select the text color like this, and this is alternate text color, so you can select something like this. So whatever you want to select, you can select it accordingly, or I will keep it just like this color so that everything is visible. So this is our calculation of average income by department or grade or something. And if we further want to divide it, we can do it like that. If you want to create it as a calculated table, then also you can do that. So let's try. Okay, let's say you want a table out of it. I'm just trying, I'm not sure, but So we will create a new table, and let's say average income per grade per country. So I can write summarize. Summarize creates a new table. Okay. So what will be our table here? First argument, full data, and group by column name country,
Country.
name of that column, let's say average income, and then comes our expression. This is important thing. Why don't we directly put yes? So average income per grade, because we have already written that expression in a measure. So that's why I'm just adding it here in summarize function. So when I do this, I will have a table, and this is also your answer, right? You can see the code here, not this one, this one. Is this code clear to you? Like we are grouping the
Yes.
data and we are creating a new column name average income, and the expression that we are applying is grade. So like average income, it is simply giving us that income value. Okay. So whatever you want to do, you can do like that. Now we will move to another important question that we have to cover today. We are going to understand the use of contains function. Okay, and it is a bit tricky and something that you can remember. So that's why I will teach you with two examples. It is asking us a simple question. Which department contains at least one employee with grade A? First of all, is the question clear?
Employee with the grade A.
So here you can see this is HR department. Here we have grade B. This is HR department C, HR department B. But is HR department a department that has at least one employee with grade A? And there are 5 departments, right? So are all of these 5 departments such departments which have an employee with grade A, or is there any department where we don't have that? There are multiple ways of doing that. Like you can simply apply grade filter and it will automatically give you the department list. So for example, we already have the department name here, and if I add a slicer here, okay, and in this slicer if I put grade and I select A, so you can see every department has that. Grade B, every department does not have grade B. Do you get my point? Operations department does not have grade B employee. Can you see? In C also we have only 4 departments. So employee grade A is present in all 5 departments. B is not. So that's what the question is asking. So either you can do it very easily with the help of a slicer or a filter, or what you can do is we can write a DAX. So that DAX that we are going to learn is department with grade B. Okay. For department, so we are going to create a calculated table. Okay, and this calculated table will give us a list of all those departments which have grade B. You just saw that. But how is this created? So we just studied that values function can be used to create a table, We just studied that summarize function can be used to create a table, and now we are also studying that filter function can also be used to create a table. So in filter table, we are selecting our table as values department. Is this clear? Because we are filtering departments. Okay. So is table selection clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Then in filter function, second is your filter expression. So that's why we are using a new function today that is called contains. Contains return true if there exists at least one row where all columns have specified values. So this is exactly what our question says. Which department contains at least one employee with grade A? Okay. So when such kind of question will be asked, you will use contains function. Okay. So contains function returns true if there exists at least one row where all columns have specified values. All columns. Okay. Or whatever specified value I have. So in table, what is table? Where are we filtering the data? In full data, right? Like all 55 employees. So is first argument clear? Full data.
Sir, you told like filter is also or used to create new table, and values also will create new table.
Yes. And we can
But
use them in
filter,
nested way also. Like we can write values inside filter also.
same way like summarize also we can
Yeah, in
use as
some yes. So for example, in filter, you can also summarize something, right? And your summarization can be based on some filter.
okay.
So we are writing filter and we have selected department. So when a question is asked, department with grade B, or question can be uh, department with job level 1, 2, 3. So every department has a job level also. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. So there can be some departments which only have job level 2. There can be some departments which have all job levels. So like there can be a department like operations where only senior people are there. I'm just giving a condition. So you want to check whether this is the case. Okay. So this is departments with grade B, and here we are writing contains. Inside contains we are selecting the table where we have to filter, and then column 1. So what is our column 1? Full data department. Now you can see I have written it 2 times. Okay. Value 1 will be clear to you because in contains value 1 is this, like full data grade is B. Like this part will be clear, but that's why I have given this note. So values employee payroll department where there exists at least one employee with grade A or B. This returns a table of distinct department values. Filter, you are filtering the list of departments using condition that checks where exists an employee with grade A. Now contains. In contains we are writing these 4 values. This checks if employee payroll table contains at least one row where employee department equal to the current value from the values iteration. So this values is a loop, okay, and their grade is A. So employee department appeared twice because in the first instance column in the table to check, in the second instance value to match from the outer iterator, because it is looping through. So I know it is hard to digest at first. I will probably give more examples, but first loop is values and second loop is contains. So that's why we have written it twice. And finally you will write this filter expression like your grade is B, A, C or whatever. So this will create department with grade B. Okay. And what I am going to do is I will simply create it here. You can try this from your end, and if you don't understand this, let me know. I will give you another example. But now on the basis of this I have another question. Okay, and that question is, what if I ask you department with job level 4? So let's write them side by side and you will be able to understand it a little bit in a better way. So this is department with job level 4 and this is department with grade B. Compare them. Here we are asking what are the name of those departments where we have at least one employee of job level 4. So departments with job level 4 is same filter. In filter you will select department because you want name of those department as your output. But the filter that you are applying is contains full data. So up until this point it is same. Here also it is same. Okay. So this is like same, but finally here we have written full data job level 4 and here we have written full data grade B. So whatever that filter is, you will just write it in the last line and it will filter accordingly. So another question will be department where at least one employee is from USA. What will you do? Department with at least one employee from USA. So you will just write it like this, like department with USA. I'm just writing that, right? Filter this. So up until this point it will be same. And here you will write country
USA.
So if you remember, here we did never write equal to. Here we just provide last value as an argument. So something like this, right? And we are writing USA or B inside double quotes because they are not numbers. But when we are comparing something with a number, we can write it without that. So let's try to create this. If it is error, we will see. So we will go to modeling tab, new table, and we can create departments with USA in, and however USA is given. So here you can see all departments have people from USA. Okay, that's why all departments are coming. So this is something that is used to create this calculated table, and to show that here, like if you want to show that, so you can simply use a matrix chart or a simple table visual. So in our table visual we can just drag like departments with what is that name? Just a minute. So sorry, I was not expanding them, so you can just expand them and now you can see. So this is whatever your title is, like departments with grade B, you can just go to title and write it here. So this is department with grade B, and and similarly you can show other tables also. So this is something that you can do, and what we can do is copy the same formatting and we can increase the value size a little bit. Okay, so everything that you are seeing here you have to try it today and try some other things also, like with grade B with at least one employee from USA or something that is important. Now let's move to another question. See, another thing, show only job level in visuals if it's being used as a filter. Is the question clear? If it is not, I am showing you an example. Suppose I selected job level and salary. Okay, what job level is there? 1, 1 and 2. So it is going to show something like filter level 1 and 2. Okay, but here do we have in total row, do we have any job level? No. So it is showing all levels. So whenever that job level is in context, okay, whether it's a matrix or a table or whatever type of chart, it will show us data like that. Otherwise it will show us all levels. So for that we have to create a measure, and the function that we are learning is in scope. Is in scope. And the other function that we are learning here is if. So I have already given you a demonstration of if function in previous classes. If means what? Like if this is true, show me that. If this is not true, show me something else. Okay. For example, let's create a calculated column. So we create a calculated column with if function. So like, is salary high? So we'll write if logical test. The monthly income, if average monthly income, no, not average. So if full data monthly income is greater than average monthly income. I am just writing a condition. So we will say true. And when I am writing true, I am trying to write it like that. Otherwise I will write false. Let's see if it will create that. So you can see in most cases this is giving me false because I may have selected some different column. So is salary high? I'm going to write a number. If is greater than 51666 or whatever. So you can write that. So basically this is the logic, right? It will return as true or false. So whatever monthly income is, let's say I'm saying 5774. So it is 5774. So you can apply your own logic here, and based on your logic it will give us true or false. Now once you will write true or false as a function, then this if is going to return that output as a boolean value. Can you see here? True false. True false is what? A boolean value. Is it okay? So when you have to return the answer as a true false data type, you can do it like that. So if consider some condition, and then if that is true, and if it is not true, whatever you want to write. Okay, this is use of if. Now here we are using our logical test as is in a scope. Okay, so let's create another. So now let's break it down. So I am going to create a measure here. Okay, remember we are going to create a measure. So if is in a scope full data, okay, job level, and here also I am going to write full data. So here if in is scope, column name, ये लाइट जला दो वाली, if in scope, so returns true when the specified column is the level in hierarchy of levels. Okay, so if is in scope, we are going to return an output like this: filtered level and selected value job level. Selected value will be the job level. So first let me show you the output of this, and then we will come back, okay, to understand. So I am creating a simple measure here. Okay, I am sorry, simply creating a table here, or let's create here because we have some space. So if I select department, okay, and I select employee ID like this, and then I select job level info. What is this showing us? What is it showing us? All levels. Every time all level, right? We can also show something like average monthly income or monthly income, anything. You can put a number also, and I will just rename for this visual as income because I don't want to consume too much of space here. Okay, is this okay? But instead of department, if I put job level here, okay, so if I am putting job level info, so it should show that. Let me see. So for example here I have done, so like I have selected department, then I have given job level, then something else, and then job level info. So whenever job level 1, 2, 3 is there, okay, based on whatever job level is selected, it is giving us that kind of output, that filtered at level 1, filtered at level 2, filtered at level 3. So basically this will help us in understanding that whenever that particular job level is in scope, we can give some kind of output on the basis of that. So I'm checking what the issue is here. So okay, I know what the issue is here. So here you can see the job level is being shown as a text, a whole number, right? But is it actually a number? Like obviously it is a number, but for this thing to work, you have to select it as a text. Okay, so now I am just selecting it as a text, and now I am going to add job level after employee ID, and now you can see the output. So filtered level 1, filtered level 2. I know it is just showing us the same data, but this is in a scope is very much helpful when you have to find that if that particular job level is in filter scope. So on the basis of that selected value you are going to show that data. And if it is not selected, like if it is not selected, it's not in scope, then it is going to show all levels. So whenever you can see here, it is going to show all levels. So whenever you will put the job level in consideration, it is going to select that. Okay, if we add a slicer, because we have not added it as a column, and I add job level 1, then also it is not considering because we have not selected it in that table. Okay, so that's why when you will add that in the table, and whenever that job level is there, then only this column will show a different value, otherwise this column will show something else. So like here giving a we are kind of giving a condition that if this job level is there as a column, then only we are going to show this value. So this is the question that we just answer. So job level in scope. Okay, I know there are certain things that might be partially clear at this moment and not completely clear, but at least we have to start somewhere. So that's why you can consider that I am just introducing you to these different type of strategies that in a scope where you will use it, right? So if that column is present in our answer, then only we are going to answer that or show some value, otherwise we are going to show a different value. So this is very important, and later we will use it in other examples. We will see some other examples to answer this question. So this is job level in scope. So these are the functions that we have studied in first part. Now let's break down to just make you understand this. It returns the single value of job level in current filter context. If multiple values are present, it returns blank. Used here safely because it in scope ensures we are only calling it when the context is for single job level. So whenever it is for single job level, then only it will appear, otherwise it will show as all values. Okay, and you can see the example use case, like in case of total it might show you all levels. Next, there is another thing that we studied in our previous class that was slightly, not clear, and that was rank in department or rank of something. Okay, so if I just create this, here we are going to write, we are going to create a new measure here, not a column, sorry. So we are going to call it income rank. So I want you to pause and first see the function. Okay, and then we'll discuss. So in rank, like if we have to create income rank, if you have to create something like that. Okay, so that's what we do. For example, if you have to create income wise rank of employees and you have to list them, okay, somewhere. So for that, what you will do is you will use the rank x function, and you will just go here, and this will also be a measure. So you will right click here and click on new measure, and we will call it income wise rank or income rank, whatever you want to call it. and we are going to use the function called rank x, and here it is full data, here also it is full data. So in rank x you can see first thing it is asking is table. So because today we are seeing a lot of ways to create a table, right? So can you name some functions that we studied for tables?
Max, minimum,
No,
Values,
table, yeah, values,
values,
summarize,
filter,
summarize,
contains,
filter, contains also, right? So these are like where we are in contains we can put a table, but values, summarize, filter, and now we are seeing all also. Okay, so all is basically used to remove filter. That is something that we studied, right? Returns all rows in a table or values, ignoring any filter that might have been applied. So this is basically cloning something without use of filters. And here we can put a column name or table name. So the name that we are selecting here is full name. So basically we are selecting the name of every employee. And second is what is your expression. So we are calculating the expression as sum of full data monthly income. That is our value, because that is something that we have to organize this data with. That is something that we have to arrange this data with, right? So this is that. And then third is your order, and then ties. So they have given it like this, but I have given it in a simple way. So here you can see table, expression, value, order. So it's simply like table, expression, value, and order. Table, expression, value, and order.
value.
Okay, so order is descending. We are just using empty value because here income expression used and we are just sorting. So we'll just use a blank here and rank. This will rank each row in the given table based on the result of evaluating the expression. Okay, so it will calculate sum of monthly income, which will be a single value, and it will create a descending order and then give them rank. So this is the simplest trick, and when you will do that it will create an income rank. Now what we can do is I'm just copying this, and here I'm going to use a table like this. Here I will write employee ID, their monthly income. So instead of sum of monthly income I will just rename it like monthly income, or whatever other column name you want to select, for example their country, and finally their income rank. And you can see we are seeing income rank as 1 here, so that is the problem. So this is rank in department, and here you can see rank in department 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, because here what we are doing is earlier we were selecting all function, so all employees name, and we were calculating sum of payroll monthly income, and the order that we were giving as was descending. So basically in rank you need these two functions, but here what we are doing is we are applying a filter. So as you know filter function also creates a table. In filter function we are selecting full data instead of just table, and we are saying that department is equal to max department. So if you remember previous class also I told you this is like a trick that we use in filter. So if you have to rank find the rank in department, and for that, like if I just get rid of employee ID, or sorry, if I create or add that also. So if I add employee ID, and instead of country I put department. Here you can see finance, IT, HR, marketing. This is the first rank. Like these are the employees with first rank. Like they have the highest income. So for every department, this is the rank in department. So other thing is same, like calculate. You leave this as blank. You put this as descending. Here you write all full data, but the only thing you have to write is inside filter function, just say that your department is max department. Like we are selecting the maximum value of department. Return the largest numerical value or largest string in a column. We only have one string per column, like we only have one string per department. So it will find the maximum value and then give it the first rank. So I will give this code to you. This is a way to find out rank in department. Okay, and so I'm just writing it here. Rank in department, and then we have other functions also here, like display distinct grades present in the current filter context. This is also an important thing to discuss. Display distinct grades present in the current filter context. Like every employee has a grade. Okay, so we have grades. This is list of grades. First see this. This is finance, this is HR, IT, marketing and operations. First of all, how many different grades do we have in the data? For that, if I just go to grades column, how many do we have? A, B and C, 3. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, is it a possibility that all these grades are in all the departments? It's
Yes.
a possibility, but is it a surety? That all these grades are in all the departments? Or in other words, if I say, do we have employees from all these grades in all the departments? So we have to check that, right?
Yeah.
So if all the values of category A are present in category B in simple terms, for example, in sample superstore data, if all the values of segments are present in all the regions, if yes, it will give us answer yes, otherwise we have to check. So the output of this will be something like this. Can you see? You can see in finance department, HR, IT and marketing, we have all grades. So list of all grades. But do we have that in operations?
No.
No. Yeah.
Now let's learn. So here we are using a function called concatenate, and we are putting x to it. Before that, we will understand what is concatenate, and then we will understand what is concatenate x. Let's say active is given as true, or something is like, okay, Alice Johnson is given as a full name and country is given. if I go to column, if I go to full data and create a new column and I write imp data, something like that, and if I write concatenate, so it is asking your text 1 and text 2. So I am selecting text 1 as country, okay, and text 1 something like lives in, and here I am writing another concatenate, or let's write this, I am not going to confuse you. So I will write something like lives in country, okay. So this is concatenate. Now it will run row wise and give you something like this: lives in USA, lives in Falana, lives in Canada, etc. Is it okay? Concatenate is just when you add two strings to give a bigger string. Is it okay?
Okay.
Now what is the output of this? Lives in USA. Now if I write, because it is only asking us to use two strings. So if I am asking concatenate full name, comma, concatenate this. So now I am concatenating full name with this, okay, and here I am just adding a space from my end. So now what will be the output? Is this clear?
Lives in. Yes.
So like first we are concatenating the full name with output of this, and we already saw what the output of this is. Output is lives in and that country name, right? So now you can use nested concatenate functions to get an output like this, okay. But here we are learning concatenate X. The concatenate X does the same thing row wise. You know that these functions where we have X, they run row wise, they iterate through row wise and then find something. So what now? What is the use of values? So we are creating a new measure here. What is the use of values? To find unique values, right? Single column table of unique values. Is this clear? So in concatenate X, it is asking for table. We are saying grade, and expression we are selecting grade name. So this is basically going to iterate through each row, and if it will find that grade, so it will concatenate using comma. This is our delimiter, comma, okay. You can also write something else in delimiter like hyphen, forward slash. Let's write forward slash, okay. Now if I run this, so it will run a loop through every row, and in every row, if it is going to find that grade name, then it will show us that answer, okay. So I will again copy this and put it here. Here also I have departments, so I will just remove everything from here and I will put department like finance department, and like I can go and increase value size to 14 pixel, and then I will write in every department what are the list of possible grades, okay. So here you will see So in finance we have B, A and C. You can see forward slash. So here you will first select your table, which is unique value of your all the unique names that you have. Then full data, grade. This is just expression. We are just going to write that name and concatenate it with forward slash. So if in a particular department we have this, we will run this. Similarly, we can also create list of job level. How to create list of job level? So what should I do here for list of job level?
Full data job level.
The full data job level to select unique values.
Next.
Here
Full job level. So
let's write comma here, right? Just giving an answer. And now we will put job job levels here also. So you can see in operations we only have people with job level 4 and grade A. Okay, and we can go to column headers and increase their size also. So this is a simple way to actually calculate that. So this is something that you are going to try today. We still have one or two more functions to discuss in this example, and that's why we are doing these different type of functions now. Okay, like we have done a lot of simple functions. Now we are doing these functions where we need to iterate through, where we need to apply nested things, like combination of things. Okay, so you have to do that. And now let's say we want to show country wise, how country wise what is average monthly income, or country wise total income, or something like that. So we can create a simple chart. In location we can put country. Now here it is, here you have to put tooltips. Okay, for some reason map is not working at this moment, so you can show them easily with the help of donut chart or pie chart also. I will check why it is not working. Usually it will work. So like you can write country here and what we calculated average monthly income. Okay, and this is something that you can create, and now you can copy the format painter, apply that. And there is also another chart that you have where you can show multiple values. It's a multi-row card. Okay, so like here we are showing the KPIs like this, but let's say you want to show average of bonus. So like you will select it like this, and you can put multiple rows here. Okay, and you have average of that. You have something like average income, whatever we calculated. So you can show it like this, and later we are also going to discuss how we can show icons in this. So there are still different type of things that we have to do here. And monthly income is something that we are selecting here as our main index. We can show something like variance in income. Okay, we can show something like, let me just remove this. If suppose we have to define a particular variable, so this is showing us variance, so we can write where in income. Okay, to describe our data, if someone asks you to statistically describe our data, so you can write something like sum. Okay, so we can write total monthly income that company is giving. So sum, variance, then we can also write count, that we are not going to do here. We can write average, which is also mean. Okay, so average income, and we can also show standard deviation. So we can show something like a standard deviation. So here it is STD dev population, and then you can also rename it. So in your cards you can select a border, try these type of settings. If it is not needed, just ignore it. You can increase or decrease size of these values. You can select your colors accordingly. You can select your labels accordingly. These are the things that you will try. So because I never introduced card visuals, I'm just adding this. And here also you can use format printer to apply that. So this is our simple dashboard, our first dashboard for this series. So I'm just going to rename it as part 1. In part 2 I will come with more questions, like we have more questions in preparation, so I will discuss it with you. Till then you can try this much, and if you have any questions you can let me know.